Yo, 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 what it do? What it be, y'all? It's your boy, Agent A and T, coming to y'all with a little Madden 19 commentary, discussing a little bit about 2pac and Biggie, they beef, and the subsequent beef between Death Row and Bad Boy, and the East Coast, West Coast rivalry, and how it all stemmed from one night at Quad Studios in 1994, and Biggie and Diddy, from my understanding, had no part in the Quad Studios robbery. Now, there's evidence to suggest that Diddy knew about a setup or had knowledge that night what was going to happen, but there's really nothing solid. From what I understand, also, the Dexter Isaac story isn't what happened. According to 2pac's brother-in-law, Zayd, Dexter Isaac doesn't fit the description or the profile of the guys who robbed Pac at all. However, Zayd does confirm that Isaac was either cool with the robbers or cool with the people that ordered the hit. So Isaac claiming he was one of the robbers is just him being a clout chaser, I guess. I don't know. But to my knowledge, there's only one person who really knows what the guys looked like. Or, you know, that would be Ed Lover and Zayd. So those two are the only people who really know who robbed Pac, but it's pretty much universally accepted that it was the A-Team. You know, the notorious drug ring in Harlem, not Mr. T and them, but namely King Tut, Jimmy Henchman, and Haitian Jack. And Pac met Haitian Jack on the set of Above the Rim. And Jack and Tut wanted Pac to sign with Bad Boy, allegedly. This is all rumors and speculation, but rumor has it Pac said no. And they didn't take very kindly to that. So after reading the girl's testimony, the official testimony in the whole 2pac case, it kind of sounds like Haitian Jack set 2pac up for a rape charge, just like they did Mike Tyson. And that's rumor, that's speculation, I don't know, but that's kind of what it kind of sounds like to me. And here's where details kind of get hazy too, because I've heard different stories and different sources that Big warned Pac about hanging out with the A-Team because everyone knew what they were about, and I've heard vice versa that Pac warned Biggie about those guys. Now, Henchman and Jack, as far as I know, actually were getting a check from Bad Boy. I'm not sure about Tut, but Henchman and Jack definitely muscled Diddy at one point for a job at Bad Boy, presumably for money laundering purposes. And let's be honest, to me, it makes more sense for 2pac to warn Biggie than the other way around, because Pac was close with Tyson, and Tyson had, I think, already warned him prior to this whole situation about hanging out with Haitian Jack. So keep in mind, this, like, it wouldn't make sense to me for Biggie to warn Pac about it, but I'll get to that in a minute. But keep in mind, you know, this is my opinion, but look at the situation back then. This is before Suge Knight ever even enters the equation. Like, Suge came into play because Puff's bodyguard killed Suge's good friend Big Jake at a So-So Def party in, you know, somewhere around this time. Maybe it was 95? So, yeah, it was around 95. Yeah, and Suge blamed Diddy. And at the time, Death Row and Bad Boy had just started up his labels. And Suge, of course, was funded by extorting celebs like Vanilla Ice and the Pyrus, you know, extorting other people. But they arguably had the best West Coast producer at the time in Dr. Dre, and the hottest up-and-coming rapper. I mean, Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style got to be a top 10 debut project all time, no cap, no gown. And Bad Boy had Craig Mack and Biggie, and later they had Junior Mafia and Lil' Kim. And Lil' Kim arguably was the hottest female rapper. Well, actually, not even arguably. She was the hottest female rapper, hands down, at one point in time. But Diddy also had ties to the A-Team. in Harlem, and the Crips in Cali that eventually murdered Pac. And even if you don't believe the $1 million hit story that Keefe D confessed to, it's confirmed that Diddy did put a price on Death Row chains, and he hella used Keefe D's car in the "Can You Get With It" video. So for him to be so scared of Pac and Suge ruining his empire together, would he put a price on him? Maybe not a milli, but I don't think it's a stretch to say Diddy wanted Pac and Suge out the picture. And what was Biggie's role in all this? I mean, no pun intended, but that's the biggest mystery of all. But I'm getting ahead of myself, backing up a little bit. Like I said, let's back up to when Suge wasn't even in the mix. So in the timeline leading up to the quad robbery, Pac was talking greasy about Haitian Jack, and I think prior to this he called him a snitch in a magazine or something like that, Vibe or some source, I don't know. And that didn't sit well with the A-Team. So whether it be Jack, Tut, or Jimmy that set everything up, or even all three, they enticed Pac with a few racks to spit a verse or two for Lil Sean, who was an up-and-coming artist for Jimmy Henchman, who was backing him at the time. So that should have been clue number one to Pac that something wasn't right, in my opinion, But the rumor and, innuendo is that Pac was trying to hustle up since the trial, and his subsequent incarceration was going to leave him kind of broke. But truthfully, I don't know what Pac's bank account looked like at the time, so I can't tell you that. I can't tell you Pac was broke or he was in a financial situation or none of that, but kind of seemed like it if he was getting desperate enough to work with his ops, and think nothing was going to happen to him. Oh my gosh, comeback season, baby. But anyways, so Pac gets shot and robbed. And upon seeing Diddy and Biggie there and all these people at this little, unknown dude's recording studio or whatever, and how everything kind of played out with the police and all that, Pac kind of put it together that Diddy or Biggie had knowledge of the setup beforehand. And the only people that could have done this was the A-Team. And that's really genuinely how Pac felt. He knew from jump, like, hey, okay, y'all got me. No cap. But damn, y'all couldn't even tell me, like, okay. But following the shooting, Pac goes to jail for the rape case, and Haitian Jack gets off scot-free, which kind of baffles and angers Pac and Pac's lawyers. But while Pac is in jail, he plots to get back at all who wronged him. Then enters Suge Knight. Suge Knight enters the chat. And they both vow to destroy Bad Boy at all costs. Now, Bad Boy was just really that was their common enemy. And I really think Pac really wanted to get back at the A-Team above all else. For even trying to, just because he said no to a contract, y'all gonna disrespect me like that? I mean, I guess, but so even in the jail letters, you see Pac kind of scribble out Haitian Jack and King Tut's name. He Biggie and them too, but I really think he had more beef with Jack. But the Biggie and Diddy situation grew because for whatever reason, Biggie never saw Pac in prison. And during that time, he drops "Who Shot You?" And Pac is understandably enraged and feels betrayed by Biggie, who he felt could have at least warned him or visited and talked shit out. And Ed Lover has talked about it in his interview about this situation, that no one really, these were all street dudes. Like Stretch didn't have an ID. He didn't have a license or none of that. So he was just riding around in a BMW, nice ass cars, no license type shit. So maybe Biggie didn't have a license or anything like that. Maybe he couldn't see him. But you're mean to tell me that no one on Bad Boy, if Pac was Biggie's boy like he said he was, or made it out to be, and even in the movies and in interviews, you don't think anybody in bad they could have sent a runner or anything like that to relay a message to Pac? Nothing, not a letter, nothing. Like, and then you drop what seems to be a diss track of Pac. Like, there's no way you could think in that timing, oh, Pac will be cool with this, or this doesn't sound suspicious in any way. Come on now. So, like I said, people like Stretch or street dudes like that couldn't really visit Pac in jail. They didn't have an ID, but Diddy and Biggie at that time were getting kind of popping. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be capping, but they were doing shows and, going on the road and going on tour and shit like that. And they couldn't go see Pac in jail? I mean, kind of weird, but maybe I'm capping. Maybe they weren't going on tour. Maybe they were just kind of starting out getting shit together. But kind of weird that nobody from Bad Boy ever spoke on it, talked to Pac or anything like that. And then, Who Shot You dropped. And, of course, Pac felt some type of way. And like I said, even his best friend Stretch, who was there the night of, the robbery, he even relayed a message from Jimmy Henchman to Pac after he got out saying, if you want to go to war, get your bread up. Which, at that point, that's when Pac, lost. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. He signed with Death Row fresh out of jail and almost immediately starts dissing Bad Boy in the A-Team. Look at Troublesome 96, Against All Odds, stuff like that. A lot of his music was angry. And eventually, for whatever reason, everyone in NY had something to say about it. From Nas to Jay-Z to Mobb Deep to the Fugees. And I'll get more into the East Coast, West Coast beef next video. But the thing that sparked everything was the night at Quad Studios and Pac realizing that since Puff and Big had ties to the people that set him up, they somehow knew something was going to happen and didn't give him the heads up. Now, whether or not they really knew was a mystery, and the only people that know aren't telling. Like, Diddy has vehemently denied any allegations that he was involved or set Pac up that night or anything like that. So in the end, all we have is Pac's speculations, or it may have just been Pac's paranoia. Only time will tell, and even then we may not get all the answers. But in my opinion, Diddy at least knew Henchman was going to do something to Pac for his allegations against Jack. Maybe Biggie knew something too, but that's an even bigger reach. Pac should have known something was up to when Lil Sean was being managed by the A-Team. But he got caught lacking, and shit went left from there. And like I said, it wouldn't make sense for Biggie to warn Pac about the A-Team, with the A-Team being on Bad Boy's payroll. What sense would that? Don't hang out with the guys, but we're gonna sign them and hang out with them even after you get shot. Like, what? It would make more sense for Pac to sit there and tell Biggie, hey, don't kick it with them. You see what they got me into and Mike Tyson into. Just be weary. And Biggie like, oh, nah, I think you need to be weary because don't come to Quad. But, of course, Biggie never said that. But, it's a whole sketchy situation. A lot of twists and turns. I'm going to have to do a next video on it for show. Talk about the East Coast, West Coast beef. And the Bad Boy, Death Row beef. So this might be like maybe a 3-parter or something like that. So stay tuned for all that. So, hope y'all enjoyed my take on the Quad Studios incident, though. And everything that led up to it. Drop a comment on anything you learned, or, constructive criticism always helps, or even if you have a correction or your own theory, I'm all ears, metaphorically, I'm all speakers, but go ahead and drop a like and support the cause by subscribing, click the damn bell so you don't miss none of the hot content I got dropping. It's been your boy, Agent A&T, the Elevated Gamer, aka the Above Average Gamer. Be safe out there, y'all. Don't get smoked. I'm out. Got like 2 minutes left, and I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Go ahead and get this sack. No? Yep. No? Oh, incompletion, but. Oh, yeah. And he hurt? Yep. Go ahead, and I might go ahead and skip ahead, but be safe out there, y'all. Like I said, don't get smoked. I'm out. Peace.
We know he has confidence. He'll throw it any place, anytime, anywhere. That time it fell incomplete. They had the incomplete pass on second down. Now they need a big play here. 3rd and 10. Throwing. Gathered. And this is intercepted. And that should do it. A.J. Boye with a pick. A little bit more, and you know, it's such a momentum play, isn't it?
Absolutely, because it can flip either way depending on who converts on 4th down.
Going underneath for Lewis. Call it a 3-yard gain, and it'll be 2nd down. And right now, defensively, you love that, don't you? I mean, you'll give them that play.
And they'll take it every single time. This is almost like nickeling and diming it downfield, and too much time's going to run off the clock.
Here's Gabbert. It's caught inside the 25. Yeah, this will get them all the way inside of Jacksonville's 10. A big play that time for the Titans. And even 50 yards. Oh, wait, hold everything. And timeout has been called. Seemingly silly with 1 second remaining in this game. The Titans, 18 rushing touchdowns a season ago, tied for 2nd most, and they've got Henry back there on 2nd and goal. They'll try and run for it with Henry. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory, and the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week, we'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points, allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So for the Jaguars, it's an ideal